Hello guys, welcome to the channel. We have a drive and talk today with the MOZA R9 direct drive wheelbase. Don't expect great commentary and great driving, since I always find this to be quite a tough challenge to commentate and drive at the same time, but I'll do my best. So this is a week after I've owned this, so early doors really, and this is not my main review. This is just to give you an early impression of what you can expect and what I feel about the quality of this product after a week's worth of use. I haven't used it quite every day, but I have put quite a few hours into it, so I can give you what I would say, a fairly good estimation of of the quality of this product so far. So let's get started and see how we get on. Okay guys, well, the MOZA R9 is a 9 Newton meter direct drive wheelbase. MOZA have a range of 3 different wheelbases. This is their entry level one. They have an R16 and R21. The 16 and 21 denotes the actual power, the torque. So this is R9, so it's 9 Newton meters. Price of this is very good value. In fact, it's stupidly good value. You can buy this directly from MOZA, and they'll ship to you from where they're based in China. But there is distribution around the world. There are some companies that are official distributors. In the UK, you can buy this for £399. That's just the wheelbase alone, and that is great value. There's nothing cheaper out there in the direct drive wheelbase world at this price point. It just doesn't exist. The next cheapest wheelbase will be the Fanatec CSL-DD, but that's actually not as powerful as this. That comes in at 8 Newton meters. This comes in at 9 Newton meters. And I'm going to make a conscious effort not to compare this to the Fanatec CSL-DD, since I have reviewed the Fanatec CSL-DD, and it does an absolutely fine job. But one thing I will say, this outperforms it. But I'm going to leave that for the comparison, so I'm going to leave it vague for that, guys. But what I can tell you, this is cheaper than the Fanatec CSL-DD, and I have to say it's better than the Fanatec CSL-DD. But that's all I'm going to say, because today we're just talking about this product. I don't want to make some crazy comparisons and do lots of stuff there for you guys. But this is doing an absolutely fabulous job. I'm running Autumn Blister 2 right now, if you don't recognise that, and I've also tested it in ACC, and both games are running absolutely great, no problems. Runs just fine, and easy to set up as a wheelbase, just like anything you might expect. You install the driver software, you tweak the software settings in the driver to kind of get the settings you want. And I'll tell you what I did have to do, because out of the box the default settings is pretty heavy on the damping, and that's to try and get rid of the wheel oscillation. So this is there's quite a lot of wheel oscillation from this wheelbase. God, that was terrible, I was in second gear. Never mind. So yeah, there's a lot of oscillation, but oscillation only occurs when you let go of the wheel. You don't feel it when you're driving. You don't feel this sort of like oscillation wiggle. It's only when you let go, and it'll do this sort of thing, and eventually it'll get really wild and you'll spin off track. And that's what damping's there to do. It kind of kills that kind of oscillation effect, but it also kills some of the force feedback sensation and makes the wheel feel, to me, overly heavy and kind of sticky. Feels like you're driving through sort of treacle. So the default settings, I'd say, are there to just basically be safe, but quite honestly, drop the damping settings to virtually nothing or nothing. I think I've taken the damping settings down to 0 completely, and I've also reduced the friction setting. There's like you can add like a friction effect if you want a slightly kind of heavier feeling wheel as well, to kind of make the wheel, I guess, rotate a little bit more slowly, and you want it to be a bit heavier. I've turned that down to I think 5%. I like my force feedback effects to come directly from the game, and because of course there's friction from the game as well, from the track sensation and all the other force feedback. But yeah, maybe a title may feel a little bit weird, a particular game may feel a bit odd to you, so you can add that extra sort of friction if you need it. But I think the effects in Autumn Blister 2 are doing a good enough job of adding any extra kind of elements there. and you know, it feels really good to me. I'm getting really nice heaviness of the wheel as I kind of turn into those corners, and I'm feeling those tyres building up. And if I overcook it, I can really feel the car squirming around, and it allows me to, you know, understand what the car's doing and correct the car before it gets completely out of control, which is fantastic. Yeah, so it really feels good. I mean, nice amount of kind of effect there, heaviness, good detail. I really have no complaints here. It's doing exactly what I'd expect from the other direct drive wheelbases I've used. And yeah, so overall, I'm completely happy with this. It feels strong, the force feedback, despite me using this 330 millimeter wheel rim. I thought it might be too heavy for it. This is their CS wheel rim with the button box. This comes in at £249, and again, a really good deal. I mean, look at that, it's got an LED light on there, nice switches on there, aluminium. We have aluminium paddle shifters, mechanisms with properly, you know, proper carbon fiber paddles on there. It's really high quality stuff. I mean, the whole thing is really high quality. Look at my unboxing because you can see it up close. But indeed, I will review this wheel rim as well by itself, as well as obviously reviewing the wheelbase as well in due course, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm driving terribly. Don't blame the wheelbase. I am trying to spend more time thinking about talking than I am driving, to be honest. And it's a tough ask for me. So I don't like making these videos. I really don't, because I'm terrible at them. But you know, I feel like I need to do a video like this when I've owned a product for a little bit of time. Something like this, a high-end piece of hardware. Yeah, to just give you a sense of what it's like so far, even if it's not the most coherent video I'll make on the channel. But it is what it is, guys. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a break on that one, as I said. But yeah, it's awesome. It feels nice and strong, as I said. 330 millimeter wheel rim on here. Surprisingly, with the extra leverage and the weight, doesn't feel like it's overpowering the force feedback. The force feedback is super strong, and it's and I'm surprised that it can do such a good job with this heavy wheel rim on there. But yeah, so I'm really sort of pleased that it's not, you know, it can cope with you know, pretty much anything here. I've also tested this wheel rim I've driven a couple of open wheelers, which normally I'd find a wheel again like this to be slightly too big, because it can dull the force feedback because of the extra leverage. But I have to say, it coped with it really well. And as much as I would prefer to use a smaller wheel rim with Formula cars, this actually handled it pretty well, so it wasn't too bad whatsoever. And of course, I can change this rim on here on this button box if I really want to. That's entirely up to me. There is enough room on here, there's enough gap on there to cope with the spokes of other wheel rims, no doubt. And indeed, I can also add my own wheel rim as well. You don't need to use one of their button boxes for it to work. You can use a D-Spec or NRG quick release on the end of the quick release here, and you can then add your own wheel and button box, whatever you want, and then just connect it to USB. This one connects directly through the steering shaft for the power, but it is actually wireless. There's it's onboard Bluetooth on this, as there is on the wheelbase, and that connects to this all together. So completely cordless. Yeah, and very neat. It's a very neat package, really high quality. The price of this is ridiculously cheap for the quality of what I've got in front of me. I am very, very impressed. So we'll go into more detail when I get a review out there, and I will indeed run a comparison between this and the CSL DD. I've had the CSL DD for several months, and it's the wheelbase I've been using for a long time. And you know, and that's why I was able to make a really quick assessment and comparing this between the CSL DD, and I have to say this is better. It is what it is, guys, and that's not taking anything away from the CSL DD, which I reviewed and did well in the review, but this comes in cheaper, it's more powerful, and it's doing the same thing with a better quick release on there. It is what it is, right? So you know, so yeah, I'm loving it. I think it's a really great piece of hardware. I've got a bunch more games to test it in, that'll be for the review. But so far, massively impressed by it. You know, I've got no complaints here. Literally, I finding no flaws in this. At this price point, the quality of what it's doing on track is absolutely perfect. So yeah, very impressed so far, guys. But I will make a review and it will be more detailed. I'll get a lot more testing in, because do understand this is very much early doors for my impression here. So take it for what it is. It's not a definitive final review, but if it carries on as what it's demonstrated so far to me, then this is going to do extremely well in the review. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop questions below the video if there's anything you want me to pick up and answer. I'll do my best there. And yeah, but until next time, take care, happy simming, and bye bye.